Started?
Okay, awesome.
All
So
right.
sutcunuri with his classic E3 knight f3.
Yes. So today we have the AWC final between sutcunuri and Vlad. Sutcunuri is already like the winner of the winners bracket, Vlad of the losers bracket. So Vlad has to win twice. So if Sutcunuri wins this match, he's world champion. And if Vlad wins, we need to do it again. Today I'm also joined by iubar and IGH for commentating. So
So
Hello. And yeah, I think they already played a match like this, right? So they already played before, and I think they also played this E3 knight f3 line before. Not exactly this one, I think. Not sure about it.
it's really funny with the last match. Vlad started out with like 4-0, and then sutcunuri had a comeback. So it'll be interesting to see how things go today.
But yeah, this is really like a bad line of sutcunuri. Like sutcunuri always goes for e3, knight f3, and also with b4 thing when you play knight c6. So yeah, they both know this, but it's very interesting that sutcunuri is already thinking right now.
It is. Vlad has a bit of a time advantage on the clock, but there is increments, so it shouldn't be too bad.
True, but I find it kind of surprising that out of the opening on the fifth move or something, or sixth move, he has to take like a minute for something that he always plays.
Yeah.
But this is also like a bit different, like how they normally play.
This is some weird E3 sideline. I know that Wolfram was helping Vlad prep as both black and white, so it'll be interesting to see how effective that prep is. I don't know how much sutcunuri prepped, but I would assume he prepped a little bit.
Yeah, probably a little. I kind of expect Vlad to have prep more, but
Oh, for sure.
it doesn't say always anything.
Okay, so Wolfram in the Elite Chess chat says Sut has 4 games this position. They're all against him.
So it's gonna it's really low in time, by the way. I mean, it's not dangerous, I would say, but it's surprising.
Yeah, it is.
Like already a minute, there are 7 moves in, and normally already no theory of 7 moves. So this is really surprising. And
Yeah,
yeah,
he was almost certainly cut out a theory here.
yeah. So I think Vlad or Wolfram did a good job.
Oh, yeah. So Queen f6 was threatening Queen d4, which goes to d2 or f2 for those who are new to Atomic.
Yeah, and it'll get blown up.
Yeah, now d4, what cannot play Queen d4 because that will blow up the queen.
Yes.
So knight f2, I suppose that we'll see Queen h5
Mm-hmm. Maybe g6.
and
Well,
yes,
actually,
white e2.
yeah.
So black has to play like g6, otherwise knight f6 and there's or knight d6 and there's a double check.
Mm-hmm.
So here I assume we see the queens get traded off.
Yeah, I mean you have to.
Oh well,
You have this threat of knight
black doesn't
e5.
have to.
You-
Yeah, black can get aggressive with the knight.
I think you can also do just like d5 because knight e5 is a threat and then knight takes g6.
Yeah,
But I think honestly trading queens would be fair. I mean you're gonna trade them anyways at some point. But okay, he keeps d5. That's also
just go
fine.
d5. d5 is probably better the long run. It gets a better position for black.
I'm not sure actually, but it does at least keep the tension. I think like the downside indeed if of queen takes h4 would be indeed like that you go d5 yourself as white, and then like bishop b2 is very strong.
Yep.
So you really do
So
you do prevent this. So indeed, maybe this is just better. All right. So
surprised he sacked that. I guess you go a6 here, or you could even go bishop b6. Or bishop a6, excuse me.
Yeah, the sack is kind of surprising. But I kind of feel that he thinks he needs to start something. But I think just playing bishop d3 would be better instead.
Yeah.
Because you like basically attack the queen. And if he takes with the knight, that's not a problem, because that knight is good. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, after that you
Well,
can castle and such.
without the knight on the queen side, knight e4 suddenly becomes much more dangerous for white.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that they're going to just trade off queens here.
I think you have to as black.
15th game says, why not g5 instead of rook g8? Well, with rook g8, or... Wait, let me get this. G5 or rook g8. Rook g8 is just saving your rook from stopping it from getting taken by the knight. Here you see b5. I'm surprised that both the clocks are equal now. Sutcunuri was down so much time.
Mm-hmm. I'm also really surprised that those queens are like staying there. I was kind of expecting a queen takes f5 at some point. I also understand that he plays it like this, because you keep a bit more control. But I don't think it would have been bad, actually. I mean, it would have been a pawn up.
A takes, save your rook. Get the pawn in. Oh, this is mate.
Yeah.
So good stuff. So Sutcunuri is up 1-0. And now Vlad gets white. And he's playing knight f3, knight c3. Very strong theoretical line in atomic. Okay, so I am not updated on two knights theory. Oh, they are playing the 10 games, and after that, if everything is tied, there'll be 2 rounds of tiebreakers, 2 games each, and after that goes to Armageddon with black having draw odds. So this is the knight g5.
I mean, who the fuck gets into Armageddon? Oh wait.
Dan.
Oh wait, I think that was my match with that. Oh no. Or the first one.
And Dan gets into Armageddon every single year.
Yeah, didn't he get it twice? I'm not sure.
So Pepsi says, who is in voice chat? Natso is, of course, streaming. And then IGH is in voice chat, and so is iubar.
Yeah, but I had a problem actually. I activated push to speak, and I forgot to set a hotkey, so I was a bit quiet. I think.
My god. Audio problems are always fun.
But I'm back now.
Okay, great.
Stronger than before. But okay.
Yep.
But back to the game. This is actually kind of interesting. Like, normally, like even knight g5 is not played, but just like e4. So this is like really offbeat theory, I would say. I mean, it ain't that rare either, but you do notice that Vlad really prepped, because also last game he also went for a sideline in the main line.
Mm-hmm.
And also here I think like Sutcunuri like does not really know like how to respond to this, because it takes again like quite a bit of time.
Yep. So if Black plays Queen h4, just castle kinside.
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah.
Or queenside, excuse me, not kinside.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I get what you mean.
Okay, so
Queen G5 is a really
Queen
good
F.
move because you try to get into like the king, and even if you play
Queen
F,
F5, I think, is playable, right? You also
if you play
threaten.
f4, you could stop it. And black cannot really take on
hmm
f4 with a queen because white would take on g6 or g7 with a bishop.
yeah, but maybe you could try something like D5 now, hitting the queen. Maybe. I mean, it's a lot of complications though because you also have bishop takes G7 and such. So maybe
So
something.
white can
So maybe something like queen takes F6 and then bishop takes G7 if you have the time for that.
yeah.
But probably.
So white takes on f6 here, I think. And I suppose they'll try to open up the f file and get the rooks down.
I mean, that would be the most logical reaction, but an alternative could be to take on D5. But I don't think it would go for that.
Take on d5. Yeah, but
I mean, it keeps the tension, because if you do queen takes F6, then he can take the bishop on H6, and then black gets a bit of freedom, maybe. On the other hand, the white can also get his rook quite quickly in with G1.
yeah. Like black's queen side is very underdeveloped right now.
Yeah, so I do think, like, training all those things, that should be favorable for white. Yeah. Because...
And Wolfram says queen d6 is also an option. I prefer to take on f6. Oh, he takes in d5.
I'm personally not a fan of queen d6, because basically, yeah, I mean, it's just trading
It's just a
queens.
passive trade.
And you're down a pawn, by the way. So black is less developed, but if you're just going to trade stuff, all your active pieces, then you're just down a pawn. And you're worse, in my opinion. And even if it's not worse, it's still nicer to play for black. Because black doesn't have to prove anything.
Yep. So now white or black can just play queen g4 and get the queens traded right off.
hmm Bishop d6 is interesting. So any queen trade with like f6 is now impossible due to bishop takes h2. Well, impossible is a strong word because you also have bishop takes g7, but
You can just take on d7 and then trade queens.
yeah, but yeah, and then I think material is like equal, but black has this passed pawn that could be something maybe in the future. But he's also less developed, so
I think that if everything opens up like on the g file, white gets a rook in.
Can't you play knight d5 now?
95
Knight
is
d5.
also really viable.
That is a good move.
What I do expect with 95 is that you just go bishop b4, c6, and then take the knight.
Yeah.
So
This is Vlad's third AWC final, right? This is second, isn't it?
I
He
think,
played Fast Tsunami the final last year.
yeah, I think it's second, yeah. Queen b g2 is a strong move.
So you castle if he takes everything.
I mean, he's just going to take the...
So if
black
he
is
takes
going
the
to take
queen, you take his queen, then you get in on the g file.
That's true. And I guess that's why Sutcunuri doesn't do that. But...
Oh, 'cause no,
And okay, now he goes for it because he now has the time to castle. And this position is just really good for black. I mean, just winning, basically. Yeah, Vlad got like two nice positions in each game, but Sutcunuri like swindled it.
yeah.
Now they're playing another line. I think that's what they played in the first match they had. This line.
His Sutcunuri's weird e3, knight f3. That line.
It,
I heard he used to play a lot of knight f3, c3.
yeah, so this is probably not the best opening choice for black because you get yeah, white has a pawn up, and usually in these positions, like the queens get traded eventually, because white's gonna go king d1 and then knight e5, attacking the king.
So Wolfram saying 6d6.
I mean d6 looks
Makes
fine.
sense.
Looks fine because d6, for example, king e1, they can do king d8, and then if knight e5, you can move the queen around.
So now that knight h6 just go with king d1, and now you have knight g5 as a threat on top of knight e5.
Yeah, true. I mean, now you cannot stop the knight, because now you have to give up your queen, always.
Right.
And this is also, by the way, what Wolfram said in like the Lee Chess chat, like it defends knight e5 in some variations.
So now we're gonna see
Now
knight
just,
e5 and queen.
then
Trade it off.
I would say knight g5, because if you then take
Go
with
for
queen,
material.
yeah, if you take with queen, then it's an additional knight that's gone for black. So after knight g5, he has to go move the king to d8, but then you can
Knight
just,
e5, king d8.
but then you can just stick to
And then either side
queen.
is castling.
When you take the queen, I think. Oh, you can take on e6, right? And then the queen threatens. Because you have, as black, you
Yeah.
have knight b4 also in some variations.
Yeah, I mean then indeed like taking on e6 would be better, because otherwise the f-file could get opened for the rook. But what he plays right now is also a way.
Does black just take that queen, or
Yeah,
no, you don't? You
I mean this is basically like very similar to what we discussed, but sutcunuri I think just wants to have, doesn't really need to have the queen on board. I mean he can take the queen. If like black would take the queen, then white would still be material up. And I think sutcunuri would be confident, or that's at least what he's saying by his play, that he can just continue with that.
He just gets more material for it in the end. After everything's traded off, the pawns will
Yeah, I mean,
be overpowered.
true. I mean, black does have a bit more, apart from the queen, black does have a bit more activity, but it's probably not enough, because you can just, with the pawns, blockade everything. But, yeah, I mean, black does have a bit of initiative as a composition.
Yeah. So that was never gonna berserk when I was learning atomic. He told me that you have to remember that after everything's traded off, every pawn just becomes a queen, because you cannot take those pawns with your kin. And then suddenly I realized why I was so atrocious at endgames. I think it's actually something that's like, it's very simple, and a lot of people don't seem like realize that that's something that's so effective in atomic, is that every pawn becomes a queen.
Pawns are really strong in atomic, because you need a piece to take a pawn, and that also costs a piece. So they are just stronger than a normal chess, and that's also why it's fine to have like 2 pawns against a piece. And usually the person with the 2 pawns is better. But the person with the piece does usually have compensation, especially if the knight gets into the position, which is a motive we actually see right now. But yeah,
So-
the question is like how much you can use that.
Black is going for now like a knight e1, knight d3 idea.
Yeah, but white will always stop it with d3, because if you get knight d3, then it's just basically game over for white.
But what move is a3 actually? Because it plugs in the knight really bad, no?
Yes, so white would block it with d3. Oh, now you might actually go knight e1, d3 again, which also something is that flat does. Because knight e3 is like such a nice square. Obviously it blocks the bishop first, because otherwise the bishop gets into the position with jack.
So can black just open up and get some weird draw here? Like maybe on the c-file?
I mean, black has strong chances, yeah. I mean, he does need to get one of his rooks in. And right now we just see a wall.
Right.
And you need to break the wall. Okay, yeah. I think Vlad would be comfortable with draw, so he just repeats. But white isn't. And now like the rook and the king are like on one line. It's not everything, but it's something. Now you could maybe
b6 or h6, excuse me.
h6 makes sense because you want to keep out the bishop. But yeah. So white could
The
now.
rooks go back and forth.
Yeah, white could go for the draw, and that's something that
So white.
sutcunuri has to consider. But if he does not go for the draw, maybe, just maybe, black can get his rook in first, then white.
Well, can't white just push the g pawn here and win?
Probably.
Not sure. You can play just take on h7 and then play rook h8
True.
for the perpetual.
Yeah, that would be losing you. But that's the danger for white, that he's not in time. But now he has the knight to prevent the h-file, so I think white should be fine now in any case. Because if you take the rook, then
Now this is just over.
the knight, yeah.
Do you have knight e7? Does that... No, bishop... Well, actually, bishop or knight e5 doesn't work with you.
Yeah. But now knight e5
You
is...
can't even, like,
Knight e5
bring the
is
rook in because the rook is pinned.
Why not rook e2? Oh, you can't. Ah, yeah. Okay, you just said it. Sorry.
Yeah, this is... Really,
And the rook is still pinned because of the pawn on a7.
yeah, but you could give checks like this. Keep the rook up and down, which he does. But sutcunuri defends it now because now the square is protected. And now this seems like... It's still not that easy of an endgame, but it looks good for white.
So black opens up or pushes the a pawn to try to get some draw swindle.
Yeah, I would, by the way, trade the rook right now for black. Yeah, and now hope that you can go on the h-file and keep checks, and then you have at least a draw. Okay, so white makes a good move. So now you cannot just
So
go...
white comes down to h-file and forces trade off.
Yeah, and this is just lost right now. Because the knight can defend that
Stop
past
the pawn. Yeah.
which he actually does not do. This is really strange.
It's become a draw now.
I don't think it's a draw, but it's not the easiest way to win.
Yeah, because the queen promotes with check.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so
I mean, you could just have stopped the pawn with the knight, and it would have been a slower win, but it would have been easier than having a position where both sides have a queen. Those are not easy.
yeah, because he calculated it, or else just coin flipped it.
I mean, even if you calculated it, go for the easy one, go for the easy draw. It's not
Yeah.
it's not worth it at all. But right now we have a 3-0 position. That's actually really huge, by the way, because
Yeah,
what you get as a strategy for sutcunuri is that at a certain point he can go for just draw stuff and be fine. So especially as white, that's like a real danger. And you also see, like, if you get certain situations where black has to decide on a draw or maybe a win, which is probably won't be a win, then Vlad has to go for the maybe win. And
Yeah.
you cannot keep doing that. So apart from the fact that, yeah, like, apart from psychological effect, this is just, from a game perspective, this is just horrible.
however, you have to remember that Vlad started off the last match against sutcunuri up 4-0, and sutcunuri came back and won in a very good manner.
Yeah, we have seen
So-
quite some comebacks from Vlad. Also, last game match against Lisha, I think he was down 4-0, right? And then still won.
Yeah. So I would assume that after this game, if Vlad loses, we're going to see a break in the match, and he's going to try to like re-strategize.
Probably. It would be really cool
Already?
if he gets back then. That would be insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, as I said, because of the draws aspect, that's just like really, really hard. Because sutcunuri can always go for a draw and Vlad can't. So Vlad always has to take the risks, even if they're not good.
Yep.
Yeah, already F4 is a new move in this variation, I think.
Yes. So
But I
F4
wonder.
is the correct theory.
Okay.
Alright, so probably queen straighted. So it's interesting what black will do now. He could maybe just play g6. But if he takes, then the danger is that white gets his rook in first. And I think that actually
Right.
is going to happen right now. So probably black's going to play h5. Then he's going to go king d2 or king f2, it doesn't really matter. And then rook in. And his pieces are just like really bad. And I don't see.
Isn't king f2 better just to avoid any knight b4 shenanigans threatening to go up again?
Yeah, king f2 is a bit better. It's a bit safer.
And black's pawns are very bad manner for the king. Also, if black plays just a knight a6, you can just go king f2, knight g or rook g1,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing black can do.
Yeah.
So can you like try to get a draw out of Mrs. Black?
I think so.
don't think so.
You need to play h5 now, right? Because if you get in check, your king was lost anyway.
Yeah, because the rook and bishop was.
Yeah, you cannot castle away, and in practice you need to stop that, but then you don't have enough time to stop the rook. So it's a really hard dilemma, and I don't think you can solve it at all. I mean, sutcunuri is going to try anyways, but this should just be really bad. I think just bishop h5 check, and then
Bishop h5 check.
and then it's interesting to see where.
Just win, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. But then it's interesting to see where black will go. Like, if you go king d8, then you have bishop e8, and if you then move the pawn,
Right.
then you have the bishop on d7, and you win by mate, because an explosion will follow next move. But if you go king f8, then you're really, how are you gonna stop the rook? King f2, and now
Yeah,
you're
the
not.
rook, there's too many pawns.
You're never gonna
You
stop
can't
that
stop the
rook.
rook with the bishop or anything.
So it's an interesting decision, and both decisions lead to that. Yeah, and he
Okay,
resigns.
now Vlad has won a game. 3-1.
Yeah, I also don't think he should have taken the bishop last game. Just play g6. Honestly.
I wonder if at some point Vlad will try to do that old e3 knight f6 sideline.
Would be interesting. It's not something that a lot of people play, but probably most viewers don't know that sideline.
Yeah, but you know the power of sidelines. Some people don't prep them and they get caught napping.
I mean, I only play sidelines. but it usually works quite well.
Yeah.
And
You e5 to Chris Rapid.
yeah, but that does show like that sometimes going from another direction can be really really nice. Can still lead to wins. Because e5 on the instead of f6 against f3 is generally considered like bad or like nearly lost. Like why would you do that? But the fact that you can still do it in the WC and win with it does show that every line does have its possibilities. There are not a lot of bad lines basically. All lines are bad. so you have to switch them up.
So you just say knight 85 here, don't we?
No, you could queen takes f2, right? 95.
Oh.
But
Oh my god, 5 a.m. brain is not good. So king d1 first.
yeah. And then you can do that, yeah. And also king d8 is something that's usually not played actually in this position. Usually people go for queen g5, and then maybe d6,
Right.
and then on 85 you can just trade knights or whatever. Or even maybe not d6, but just bishop b7. But this is a bit different and also kind of interesting. Most logical move would be again King D1, which is like the canonical move in this, like the thematic move in this position. And then always move the knight somewhere and queen is fucked. But yeah, I think
Queen is pinned.
Yeah, I think knight e5 again, because you cannot take with the queen because it's pinned, as you say, and then you have to do queen g5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you also can't play knight d5 after knight e5, I think, as black. Because you can take on f7, of course.
Yeah, I mean white could take on f7 if you wanted. I probably wouldn't. I would just get the knight in that position, which is good. But sutcunuri goes for knight h3, and I wouldn't play that myself. I would just get the knight in. You can always still play knight h3, but now that knight is less likely to go in. Like you can do knight g5 now, h6, and then take on f7, but yeah, then you're forced to take that.
Yeah.
But this,
Now white is up 2 pawns, and those pawns will become queens if black can do anything about it.
But black has the initiative, so or can get maybe the initiative.
Black does have the initiative. Yeah, I'm gonna see knight e4. That'll trade off the knight. So
Yeah, knight g5 is also really good right now. I mean, this is also really a bit of the sutcunuri playstyle, basically. Like, we all said, like, there are some moves that would probably be better, but sutcunuri is like, you know, I just get, like, normal position, I'll just outplay that, and I have 2 pawns, so... Yeah, I don't need to do anything.
Right now, Sutcunuri doesn't need to try to make any magic happen. He just has to prevent Vlad from making magic happen.
Yeah,
Basically, the problem for white is that black can maybe get on the h file with the rook, right?
Yeah, so if we see bishop b7, oh, he's bringing out the rook this way.
Oh, this is nice, yeah.
this is faster,
So
yeah.
just g4, right?
I think you can play bishop d2, and then, no, it's too slow, right? g4 is the better move.
g4 is good
So you
here.
just play e5 and sack the bishop? Oh, no.
Black resigned. Also no break from the flat side, very interesting. But maybe he wants to
Yeah, it's
get...
interesting that there hasn't been a break yet.
But maybe he wants to get that white win in first, because otherwise when he goes for the break, sutcunuri will look at this line. So,
Right.
so there might be a valid strategy that he is like, okay, I'm just going to win with white, hopefully, and then I'll just take a break and then see what I can do.
I would assume a break is coming after this game, no matter what, from Vlad. So queen h5,
But also from
g6, and then
but also a break
h5.
is also kind of a compromise for Vlad, because we also noticed throughout the games that Vlad probably Pratt more, because sutcunuri is just playing his usual stuff, and even in sidelines he has sometimes has to take a lot, which basically means like if you know someone is going to play something and you still fail at it, a break is not going to help you perceive. It can like sharpen your mind, I guess. So maybe they should play the middle games and end games better, but not your openings. Your openings will be the same. However, Sut will analyze Vlad's openings, which are different. So,
Right.
from that perspective, a break is also really a compromise.
So why isn't Vlad just playing queen h5, queen g5?
Right now, that wouldn't make sense, I think. So queen h5, g6, queen g5, hitting the queen, then you get probably queen f6, and then probably take on g6, which is like a common maneuver. Okay, it just takes like this, but that's probably better for like, yeah, because otherwise the position gets really open. And you like preserve this.
Now there's bishop g5, and now he's gonna have a bishop right by the king and be really annoying.
Yeah.
But you can play bishop h6 now. So if the bishop goes to e7, the bishop goes to d2.
No. I also like really the e5 move, because it basically prevents the black's bishop from ever becoming something. And you also threaten knight e4, which he has to d5 on. And now, I mean, I probably would expect f4, but I'm not sure if he will play that or not, because this position is better for white. He has more space, but that's all it is. He has no material advantage whatsoever.
And opening the f-file is favorable for white because black's bishop is blocked off, or white bishop is blocked off from stopping the rooks coming down the f-file.
Yeah, and I think h4 is a bit of a similar motive. Just creating a wall in the position, because if you can do that quickly, then as white you should be good, because you can get your just more developed. But yeah, I'm not sure. With f4 though, it would have forced black to trade bishops, because otherwise the bishop gets into black's position and black's game would never be able to castle. But now he doesn't have to, and that's also something you see right now. He can just play something else, because the threat is h5, but at that point you can still trade. So, yeah.
At what point does white push knight b5?
What, b5?
That's a move, isn't it? Or am I completely out of my mind?
You mean for black, then? Could be an option.
No, white playing knight b5.
Oh, knight.
While the bishop is on h3 now.
Yeah, knight b5, yeah, I mean, it would just block with the knight. So it wouldn't be a lot. And that also helps black developing. And that's actually the disadvantage black has right now. Okay, right now we actually see black really going back into this position. And I'm not sure if I would say white would be better here.
Well, black is getting a territory where a draw is becoming more conceivable for black.
Yeah, this position still screams draw, because material is equal, and I do see in some ways some trades incoming. For example, if you like take pawn. And honestly, I think that would be like, might actually be a smart way for black to play at some point. Not right now, because you have the knight g4, but okay, sutcunuri just completely ignores that and just keeps on pressing for the win, which is also fine.
You can't even take on b5 here because the f5.
I'm not expecting f5 because you can just take with the e pawn, probably not your g pawn, but the e pawn. Well, it shouldn't matter, I think. And then the rook can come in.
And you can even bring your rook over to stop that.
And I think white's just completely lost right now, because you cannot block the rook. If you play like knight f5, you could play take with pawn or take with knight on e5.
Yeah, just Vlad just resigns.
Also no.
And there's no break.
No break. Of this no break, I'm actually kind of surprised, really.
Yeah, because Sut has white here.
Yeah, I would have expected a break, yeah.
So now in this game, sutcunuri only needs a draw to win the match.
And knowing that is horrible, really.
Yeah, he's going as black, into with this line that's losing.
Vlad has to win 4 games in a row and not allow a single draw. And usually in Atomic, there always exists some draw line in position. And when sutcunuri goes for that, Vlad has to compromise. He has to play bad moves. Yeah, I'm not seeing Vlad coming back from this, although I would hope so. Yeah, okay, Vlad plays a completely different line, so instead of the c6 thing, what we saw in the other game, he goes with the king f8, which is also a decent way to play. So this is all kind of typical, but Yeah, white is usually better because he usually just gains a pawn right now, which you also see here. Black cannot take on f2, of course, because then the rook gets in. And that would be
Yeah,
mate.
and even taking on e3 is not exactly fun for black.
Oh, the bishop will come. Then the bishop will come in. So
Right.
Now
bishop,
just take on d7 maybe? I'm not sure why.
Bishop takes d7. Black's in a really bad position.
bishop takes c7 is fine. Yeah. I mean, the bishops are both gone from black, so that's you have material, and the knights. It's the question how much they can do. But one thing black does have going is that he might open up the d file.
Yeah, how to stop that actually? It's not that easy because the knight can just take on d4 now, and the other knight can't block because of takes on knight takes e3.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. So
I don't see a good way to do it.
yeah. So right now he goes for the knight g5, knight f7, and then knight takes d8 defense. But even that is not that easy, because right now you can maybe take on the d pawn with the knight, and I just sack the rook. I mean, white is gonna take the rook. He must. He must. Do
Yeah,
that.
white has to take the rook.
And after you do that, you play king f7 or something, and then the other rook comes in. And then it's the question, how are you going to stop that? And I don't see it. I think this is just winning for black.
Yeah. So rook takes d8. You're gonna just play king f8. And there's no way to clear out all the pieces around the king. And you can't even step over to, like e2 or e1 because knight takes f2.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is lost for white actually. I think nice win for flat. Oh, okay, you can run to b3, but not sure if that's working.
That's the best try. But it should still lose. Probably like king h3 right now, and then maybe the knight in. Just knight e5 or something. But then you have maybe b3.
Yeah.
So it's certainly like the best way to play this. I do really expect
So if you like
king h3 right now, though. So I'm not sure why he's thinking about it.
king a4 doesn't work because you have b4 check, king a5, and then knight e5.
For example,
You're
yeah,
gonna have
that would be mate indeed. So he indeed plays the knight back, like I suggested, but yeah, it's a way to play.
so
What would also
white has rook d1,
what would also have
which
been
can
an alternative, by the way, would have been just to play the a5 pawn, because if you play b3, you might push it.
Actually, it's not. Maybe it's not that easy to win now. Okay, you can play a4 and then,
I mean,
but maybe now b3 and try. No.
we still have
b3.
a4, knight c6, and then knight b4 threats.
mhm.
Like white can complicate this, but I don't think white can save it.
No, because the king can't run. Even if you have b3, king cannot go to b2 because then the rook will explode the king. So right now, black is just gonna say pawn in your face. So yeah, and that's impossible to stop, really. So we'll first push the a pawn, then the b pawn, and black can also not escape to b4. Or sorry, white cannot escape to b4 because of the rook again.
Yeah, but the idea is b3, and then if you play a4, you can play b4.
Yes.
Maybe.
So white is trying
Yeah.
to take the knight and then play rook f3 check. That doesn't work because you just push the pawn. Have checkmate now.
I mean,
Okay, so Vlad gets another win.
that might have been a try. What you said, you there could have been a better try. It should still lose, but it would have been a better try than this.
Yeah.
And they're just indeed saying like, I'll play b4 when you push.
So knight
Yeah, but-
f3, e3, knight
But
c6.
probably you could have played just before yourself then. Yeah, it should be still losing. Now we see a completely different opening.
Kind of interesting.
I'm a little surprised sutcunuri went into this. I thought it was doing mainline. So black's queen is pretty trapped. Like, you don't have queen h3 because the knight takes. And if you try to go like g4 or h5, just f3.
Yeah, but on the flip side, white's knight is also trapped because he cannot move really, because then queen h3. So what we might see at some point is that either white takes the queen, or it plays h3 and keeps it trapped, so that you can move the knight. It's also possible to move the knight with the tempo, by the way. So knight h7 and then take the queen could also be an alternative. But you have to look out for shenanigans. Like if you would, white is not to move here, but for example, if you would in the previous position, knight h7, bishop h3 or stuff like that. So black also gets tempo.
Yeah.
And right now you cannot move it with a. That idea is basically gone right now. Because you cannot attack piece alongside the king.
Down the queen even further.
Yeah, so he goes for the h3 idea instead of the taking idea. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you take, you usually... It should be good for white, but black might get some compensation. Because
so black is try to push... No, black cannot push d5 here. Or d4, excuse me.
Yeah, because the bishop gets in.
d4, the bishop comes in, and that's really annoying.
Black has to take it a bit slowly here, right now. But what could be an interesting push would be f4, which actually white prevents now. But I see more ideas into that than d4.
Maybe queen g4 and then knight g4 if takes if the white pawn takes.
That plays d3 to prevent knight e4 ideas. Queen h5.
Yeah.
Does black really have queen h5?
Queen h5 could be a
So
way.
if you play queen h5.
Because queen h5, queen f3, and then the knight can get in with e4. And then that's also something I think Vlad noticed. It's the downside of f4. Because the knight can get easier in. And there are also other ways to do that, but usually when f3 you just block the knight completely.
First, bring the knight back.
Knight back is interesting. I didn't expect it at all, really, because basically now the knight cannot go into the black's position, but
black's queen is completely fucked now.
True, but I do see why it goes for this.
So b5 and you have queen b4. So you have to play a5 instead. And try to shut down the queen in a more indirect manner.
Yeah. By the way, king d1 is very subtle. The idea of this is probably queen d4, which was not possible because of the knight fork on f3.
Yep, knight f3, stop that. Queen d4 is... Was it a repetition for sutcunuri to win here?
I mean, honestly, sutcunuri should have just gone for the repetition. That would have been so funny.
Yeah.
Because then white has basically sacrificed his castling.
Yep.
That's not how sutcunuri plays, I think. Sutcunuri really wants to win everything. But
well, he only needs a draw to win everything here.
Yeah, but this position is drawish.
Yeah, I don't see white winning this.
Yeah, should be a draw.
Because there's...
I mean, black can even get pawnetization if they want it.
This is
drawn.
And now you just move the kings. Yeah. Repeat kings, and then it's a draw. Like, both sides cannot move. So that was the match.
Okay. Good games. But
Although Sutcunuri started with white, so are we gonna see some weird rule bending?
no, it's exactly 8 games, so it should be. They don't need
Oh,
to play
exactly
another one.
6 games. Yeah, no, it's 8. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, it's just over.
yeah. For the people watching, there is a rule that you have to play. Both players have to have equal amount of white games, and otherwise you can lose.
Okay,
So that there would be like,
Yeah.
if you become like world champion that way, that would be
That'd be funny. So congratulations, Sutcunuri, on being the 2022 Atomic World Champ.
yeah, indeed.
Congratulations. I need to go now, so have a nice day.
It
Bye.
was nice having you.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
it was nice to see that match. It was very exciting, actually. I hoped for a comeback in the end. It would even be more exciting, but yeah,
Yeah.
still a nice match. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, Iubar.
Bye.
Well, then we'll also stopping the stream.
Okay. Thank you for everyone stopping by. It was awesome having you.